Welcome to a place where hearts unwind, infinite threads that gently bind, love and compassion in every line. Together we rise through space and time.
Welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm your host, Bob. There is something I want to explore today that sits beneath everything we usually talk about. Not love as behavior and not love as virtue, not love as moral instruction, but love as structure. We tend to think of love as something we do, a decision we make, a posture we adopt, a kindness we extend. And that's true on the surface. But what if that's only the visible layer? What if love is not merely an action inside reality, but part of reality's architecture itself? Think about what holds the world together. Not metaphorically, literally. Atoms bind to form molecules. Molecules organize into cells. Cells become tissue. Tissue becomes organs. Organs become living beings on every level. Something is holding things in relationship. There is no existence without connection. Nothing stands alone, not truly. Even the most distant star is bound into a gravitational dance with countless others. Even empty space is not empty. It hums with fields and forces we cannot see. The universe is not a collection of isolated objects. It is an interwoven system of relationships. And what if what we call love at its deepest level is our lived experience of that relational fabric? Not sentiment, not romance, not even emotion, but alignment with the connective field that already exists. When you choose patience instead of reaction, something subtle happens. When you pause before speaking in anger, when you soften instead of harden, when you try to understand instead of dominate, you feel it. It feels like settling into something truer. It feels like coherence. It feels like gravity. That feeling may not be psychological. It may be structural. Perhaps love feels right because it is right. Not morally right, but ontologically aligned, like a gear slipping back into its intended groove. We talk often about division in the world, but division is not a primary condition of existence. It is a surface condition. It is perception layered on top of interconnection. Look beneath any conflict and you will find shared breath, shared biology, shared vulnerability, shared mortality, shared longing to be seen and understood. We are bound whether we acknowledge it or not. So what if love is not heroic? What if it is simply cooperation with what already binds us? We are taught to think in terms of opposition, us versus them, self versus other, win versus lose. But reality itself does not function that way. Even ecosystems thrive through balance and exchange, not domination. The heart does not compete with the lungs. The ocean does not resent the shore. And the tree does not withhold oxygen out of spite. Every living system depends on relationship. And when we act in ways that deny relationship, something in us destabilizes. You felt it. When you lash out, even if you win, there is turbulence inside. When you betray your own sense of compassion, there's a fracture you cannot quite explain. It lingers. But when you act from love, even if the outcome is uncertain, there is internal coherence. Not always comfort, but coherence. It's as though your inner life has aligned with a deeper current. Maybe that's because love is not an invention of culture. Maybe it is a reflection of the underlying pattern of existence itself. We often imagine strength as resistance, but what if true strength is resonance? Think of a tuning fork. Strike it and it vibrates at a specific frequency. Bring another tuning fork of the same frequency close and it begins to vibrate as well without being struck. That's resonance. What if love is resonance with the fundamental frequency of reality? When you choose compassion, perhaps you are vibrating in harmony with something foundational. And when others come into contact with that frequency, even subtly, something in them begins to stir. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned. This changes how we see our daily choices. If love is merely a moral command, it feels heavy. It feels like obligation. It feels like constant effort against the grain. But if love is structural, if it is woven into the architecture of existence, then choosing it is not swimming upstream. It is returning to the current. That doesn't mean it's easy. Gravity doesn't stop storms, but gravity holds the planet in orbit through every storm. Love may not eliminate conflict, but it may be the force that keeps us from flying apart. Consider your own life. The moments that shaped you most deeply were not transactions. They were connections. A teacher who saw you, a friend who stayed, a stranger who offered kindness at the right time. These were not dramatic structural shifts in the universe, but they were architectural shifts in you. They reorganized something inside. They reinforced your sense of belonging in the fabric. And when you offer love, you participate in that same architecture. You reinforce connection. You stabilize belonging. You affirm relationship, even if no one applauds, even if no one notices. Architecture is not glamorous. No one stands beneath a building praising the beams hidden inside the walls. But remove those beams and everything collapses. Perhaps the reason love feels exhausting at times is because we have mistaken it for decoration rather than structure. We try to add it on top of a life built on competition, ego, and self-protection. But what if love is not decoration? What if it is foundation? When we build on fear, everything requires constant reinforcement, constant defense, constant vigilance. But when we build on love, something steadier emerges. Not passive, not naive, but steady. Because love assumes relationship. And relationship is the only stable state in a connected universe. You are not separate from the field of life around you. You breathe air exhaled by trees. You eat food grown in soil enriched by decay. Your thoughts are shaped by language you did not invent. Your heartbeat began in another body before it was your own. You are already interwoven. And perhaps the deepest peace comes when we stop pretending otherwise. So today, instead of asking, am I being loving enough? Maybe ask a different question. Am I aligned with the architecture? Am I moving in a way that strengthens connection? Am I speaking in a way that honors relationship? Am I acting in a way that reflects the interwoven nature of reality? Not because it earns points, not because it makes you superior, but because it harmonizes you with what already is. Love may not be a fragile emotion fighting against a brutal world, like many would like to tell us. It may be the quiet force holding the world together despite our turbulence. And when you choose it, even in small, unseen ways, you are not performing virtue. You are participating in the architecture. You are reinforcing the beams. You are strengthening the field. You are aligning with gravity rather than drifting into fragmentation. That is not sentimental. That is structural. And if that is true, then every loving choice matters far more than it appears. Not because it changes everything overnight, but because it strengthens the unseen architecture that has always been holding us. And when enough of us align with that structure, the world does not have to be forced into unity. It simply remembers what it already is. We'll continue this thread tomorrow, but for now, sit with this possibility. Love is not something you add to reality. It may be what reality is actually made of. And when you choose it, you are not creating something new. You are coming home to the architecture that has been holding you all along. I love you guys very, very, very much. And you know what I need you to do. Go out and pass that on, okay? Later, Gators. Bye-bye.